Привет, I'm Chuck Olenek. I'm a Ukrainian American. I was baptized with the name Yaroslav. And today is June 6, 2026. That makes it year 5, day 103 of the war in Ukraine, or day 1564 since Russia began its all-out invasion of Ukraine in order to annex the lands and overthrow the government. And in my opinion, attempt genocide, and I'll get to that. It's also, if you really want to look at it from the long view, day 4,489 since Russia annexed Crimea and, tried to take over the Donbas region. Okay, so I made a comment about genocide. There was a term that came up when I saw a series of pictures, and I had to share it, about ecocide. I've been seeing these pictures appear in stories before, but usually not in one clump. And that got me really thinking about, ecocide, the murder of an ecosystem. Okay, so, there was an old Russian policy, an old Soviet policy, in warfare it's called scorched earth. Okay, if we can't have it, you can't either. But in this case, I'm looking at it as not just denying your enemy resources. I'm looking at this as a facet of genocide because, of just different factors that have happened between, what Russia has done to Ukraine, whether it was in imperialist times or in Soviet times like the Holodomor. It was just one more attempt. So what I've got here is just a series of pictures of before and after, as far as dealing with ecological issues. Hope you stick around and watch. Russia's full-scale war caused 10,885 plus cases of environmental damage in Ukraine. Russia's destruction of the Kakhovka Dam flooded 24,000 hectares of protected natural areas. Destruction of the Kakhovka Dam was not an isolated incident, but a pattern in which targeting civilian infrastructure is a method of Russia's warfare. Russian occupation of the biosphere reserve Askania Nova has led to poaching and wildlife trafficking. Russian destruction of the Oskil Reservoir Dam led to a 70% loss of its water volume. Russia's war is driving the decline of the endangered gray hamster. This photo shows one of the rare rodents hanged by Russian soldiers. Russian airstrikes caused a large wildfire in Ukraine's Svyatyi Hora National Park, destroying 6,000 hectares of forest. Russian strike hit the stable building in Odessa and killed a mayor named Camelia, after whom the club was named. Russian temporary occupation of Zirahilak Island turned the protected reserve into a military base. Russian occupation has turned the Oleshki Sands, the largest desert in Europe, into a mined military training ground. Russian land mining in the Chernobyl exclusion zone has resulted in Przewalski's horses constantly being killed by landmines. Russian strikes on the Feldman Eco Park in the Kharkiv region continually kills animals, including rare species. So it's being called ecocide in order to be specific about what is happening. However, I look at it as another facet of genocide. I'm hoping that Ukraine has a victory in a short time, that Russia chokes for lack of oil, and until that Ukrainian victory, Slava Ukraini.